Ta-da. Good day. As I was saying before I started recording, I actually had a pretty hard time finding jumbo noodles. I went to like 5 different stores. I was surprised. And anyway, what makes you chose this particular recipe to share?
First of all, it's just really good and tasty. Americanized Italian is kind of one of my specialties. It's something I've always enjoyed eating. I've always enjoyed cooking it, learning it from my mom. Yeah, first and foremost, it's just really tasty.
And you can make a lot of it without a tremendous cost, and you can have I don't know, I feel like you can get a diverse nutrition and taste too. So like I said, the only thing I had a hard time, and I bought 2 bags of the jumbos, and that's all they actually had on the shelf in the 4th or 5th store I went to.
Another option if you can't find the jumbo shells is the large manicotti shells. It's like a long, almost, I hate to say it, but like a toilet paper roll, and you can stuff those too, and it would be just as well.
They're just harder to stuff.
You can do a piping bag. Excuse me.
And then probably the only thing different from your recipe is I'm going to use turkey sausage. So, yep, I was just thinking part of it is you did mention quite a few times like how to make it more healthy. And I was thinking, well, I could do that with some turkey sausage. And then also that makes it so that, I don't know, people who don't eat beef or pork, but I do find with the turkey sausage, I have to add a little more Italian seasoning to balance it out. But
and I have made vegetarian version of this before for coworkers.
And what do you call it? Today you're saying you are personally making like an absolute huge batch of it, right?
Yeah, I've got my big old crock pot here. I'm going to fill this and bring it into work tomorrow. Yeah.
And you actually told me that you started a few hours ago because you make the sauce yourself from scratch.
Or not? Sometimes I do, but I just I did roughly 2 pounds of ground sausage, a pound of ground beef, and frozen veggies, and I just used jarred pasta sauce.
It's like I absolutely love my own pasta sauce. So I do. Probably the only thing I tend to can is green beans and tomatoes. So this is my own pasta sauce. Actually from last year. This year I didn't have time, and I've been slow eating. So in my case, I did get I like to short circuit how long it takes to bring water to boil. And so I actually use hot water from the sink to like shorten the boiling time when I'm doing a big batch. But I don't know. Some people don't like doing that.
You're gonna leave soon, yeah.
But
yeah, that one. That's a good idea. Thank you for doing
I can hear you, Jen. Let me.
Howard Scott.
Oh, sorry, I muted you now. Here I finally put it in the chat, the recipe. So, all right, let's get cooking. Yeah, it's so funny because my water from the sink is hot enough that when I hit the button, my induction burner is actually sitting there saying hot, hot, hot. Just from the water from the sink. So, all right. What do we want to cover first?
Well, I didn't know where we were going to be at with steps because I didn't want to be here forever boiling water. So I've actually already got a batch of noodles cooked and prepped, and I've already got my sauce made.
Okay. Yeah, I've got
So
sauce already, but when you say made, how do you make it? So you're talking about I have to fry the meat and add it to the tomato sauce, or are you just talking about just tomato sauce, period?
both.
Okay.
So I'll let you play catch up.
Okay, let's do it. So I'll start. Get my frying pan here. Probably I'm making a big batch, so I'll probably get a big pan. So
Yeah.
and on the other burner, I've started the hot water to boil too. So all right, here we go. So for what do you call it? Onions, garlic, and green peppers in the oil first, or just fry the meat first?
I usually cook the meat and drain if you so choose, and then I add the veggies back in later. That's just the way I do it.
And I don't think the turkey probably doesn't have much fat. Let's see, it's pretty lean.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right there. So you'd probably be safe just to cook them together. You probably won't have to drain anything.
And so you actually cook the veggies and the meat separately because you do such a big batch?
No, I'll cook the meat, and if I'm gonna drain the fat off,
Okay.
I'll drain the fat off, and then I'll add the veggies back into the meat, and then
Got it.
I'll add the sauce to the meat at the end step.
I tend to not like green peppers except in like the sauce like this. I don't know what it is for me, but
Mm.
bell peppers, which is funny because I like poblanos, no problem. But these particular, but all right. Let me get my meat masher. I was like, I think this is my favorite, I guess, one of my favorite kitchen tools. I use this for, it's really just for like this, chopping up meat. But I like using it for potatoes or anything I want to make smaller. So,
Okay. Give me a second. My cat is making a lot of noise back here. I'm gonna put her in a different room.
While he's doing that, Suzanne is dialing in from Italy.
all right.
There she is.
A tour of Italy. But what do you call it? Suzanne's one of our regulars. And we are recording, though. It's
All right.
But want to show us some good wine from Italy? I don't know.
You're muted, Suze.
Like,
Hi, ciao. Italy has no more wine. We drank it all.
what do you call it? You can make fun. You can make fun of our Italian cooking here while you're in Italy.
Ooh, what are you guys making?
Stuffed jumbo shells. With
Ooh, yum.
Like,
And it's semi-Italian.
yep.
Perfect.
Like-
Perfetto.
That's one thing good about using public transportation. You can keep on drinking.
Dan, you've been to Italy a few times. Has there been any food that just caught you by surprise when you were there?
Please say
Not
McDonald's.
really. Oh, just the cheapest. You just get the wine. The wine is so inexpensive. It's so yummy. Just the house wine. Just a nice big glass of it is €3. Perfect. Hi, Chef Charles.
Hello.
So he's been cooking for hours, and I'm trying to catch up here. So
Oh no, is that why he's just standing there waiting patiently?
For now.
Who else is cooking?
He's making a he made his the nice good slow cooked meat sauce. So
Nice.
I'm shortcutting it because I have the slow cooked tomato sauce where I can
Mhm.
add it.
Looks like Lulu's shredding cheese,
Shredding cheese, you can
or
buy
is
it.
that an onion?
No, it's cheese.
I
You can
thought
buy
it was
cheese
cheese.
already shredded. Didn't you know that?
What's that?
You can buy cheese already shredded.
Nah,
No, not the
All
same.
right.
It's
I'm
fresh.
overdoing it with the garlic here, but that's me.
So we're supposed to be chopping onions, garlic, and
Actually, Charles, you didn't have garlic on your recipe.
I put some in.
Yeah, I mean, you usually just use the dried garlic or you fresh.
I like to buy the glass cans of minced.
Oh yeah.
Every time I cook something, I do it differently. I don't have a set recipe. So when I send the recipe to you, for example, that's kind of just a rough
It's what you
outline.
came up with that day. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the things I can remember I can put in at that particular time.
All right. So that's
Charles, I do the same thing.
that's what I like about cooking is it's actually a creative process. Now
Mhm.
baking, that's a different thing. You have to kind of try to follow things. But
Or do you have any light? Because it looks really dark there.
Who?
that any better?
Or,
Ah,
kind of dark, yeah.
But I don't know. I've got
it's matching what it's like out here. Right now, it's 7, little after 7 in the evening.
3 lights on, but it's extremely gloomy outside. It's been raining all day.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
actually my kitchen. I have right above me, right here. I've got a skylight. So normally you guys see a lot of natural light in here because, well, I have that skylight.
Yeah, I have one like that in my
Mhm.
kitchen, right over the kitchen skylight.
Yeah. But on cloudy days, it's gonna be cloudy.
Yeah, we don't have very many cloudy days here.
Yeah.
Now, Charles, do you make the meat really, really small or do you make it chunky?
I try to. If it's just going to be for a sauce. I also like to cook the sausage links and slice each link maybe into 5 pieces if I'm cooking for myself.
Get some
Uh,
chunks.
hmm?
Get some chunks, texture, yeah.
Yeah, but the links I just slice on that diagonal. But like you said earlier, I'm cooking for coworkers, so I'm not trying to be really fancy today. Not that I'm ever fancy, but
Yeah.
I'm not going all out today.
I forgot I was gonna get some I was gonna go all fancy and get what are they called? The little smokies, the little team. Throw them. That's just like, but it's out in my freezer and I didn't pull a break it. So I was just like, definitely not Italian. All right. The sauce is slow simmering.
Okay.
You want the sauce really thick?
If you do need to thicken it up, you can add tomato paste. If you need to thin it up, you can add some of your pasta water to the sauce after you drain your pasta. That's one of my stolen from Alton Brown tricks.
Yeah.
Never hurts to save a little pasta water.
Yep. And the starch from the pasta water, the water will thin it out, but that starch, as it cools, will kind of thicken it back up. So it's kind of a good medium.
All right. Now I noticed you didn't put mushrooms in here. I noticed a lot of people do put mushrooms, but
I was thinking about it, but I didn't know how picky my coworkers were. But yeah, mushrooms are totally an option.
and that's true. There is a decent amount of people who are allergic to mushrooms too.
Or some people just go, ew, mushrooms.
Oh yeah, the texture. Yeah. Well, they're probably used to the the slimy button mushrooms or overcooked mushrooms, right? So,
or any of the above.
all right. So now I'm gonna swap these pans and put the the hot water on the bigger burner. Oh, what happened? Oh, there we go. Get that boiling, and then slow simmer this on this.
So since I was banging around, what is it that, at what point are we supposed to be? The pasta's cooked, and what are we doing to the sauce?
How do I want to say this? You want your sauce cooking, your pasta cooking, and typically while those two things are going on, I get my stuffing mixture going. But since everyone else seems to be playing catch up, I will wait.
But what are we doing to the sauce? I'm just using store-bought jarred sauce.
Then you can just wait.
I don't need to cook it or do anything to it.
I mean, are you making a mixture to go with it?
What do you mean mixture to go with it? I need to make the stuffing for the pasta. And then the sauce is just gonna go around it, right?
Yeah.
And
So
so my onions will go into my stuffing. So what I'm putting in mine is I have spinach arugula combination that's already cooked, and then I'm cooking up some mushroom.
and you're stuffing it with all that?
Yeah, with the ricotta.
Okay, then your sauce is as good as it's gonna get then.
But am I flavoring the inside with any onion or no?
I'm not. You can.
Okay. So this can go into the sauce if I wanted to doctor up the sauce.
Yeah, I would cook it.
Yeah. Okay. Got
I
it.
have a question for everybody about the pasta. Do you guys put like a little salt and a little oil in water?
I was thinking about that about 5 minutes ago. I put some cheap olive oil, garlic salt, and Italian seasoning in the water.
I just wonder, like, it seems like very common that a lot of people, when they cook pasta, put salt and oil in the pasta. I was just wondering how many people.
I think the theory is that the oil keeps the pasta from sort of sticking together, especially when you drain it.
It also raises the boiling point of water, so it causes less boil over, the violent boiling.
Good point. Anti-foaming.
Oh, maybe, oh. Then let me add just a little bit. I didn't know there was a reason. Well, I thought there was a reason that it didn't stick together. All right.
Now,
Let's make the.
I've already made a batch of noodles, and I put olive oil on them after that.
Yeah.
To keep them from sticking together.
Yeah. That's another way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I always do that. But all right. My pasta sauce is slow simmering. My noodles are cooking, and now we can make the ricotta mixture.
Okay. I'm just getting ready to do that. Oh boy. These plastic seals are real fun, especially when you're being filmed.
The one I normally go to just has these little ones, so I wanted to show the the difference. Go to. Let's see here. Yeah, this doesn't have a little tab to pull up. Oh well. Knife it is. So you're just doing like one big 32 ounce.
I'm using 2 of those because I'm making big batch.
Yep, I have some more.
And these containers are nice too, because they make for pretty good containers if you're gonna share with someone. And if you don't really care about getting your Tupperware back.
I just saw like, I don't know, a meme or a picture, and it was someone showed a picture of their tub open, and they're like, oops, I actually bought the yogurt instead of my lunch to work. Just like,
So to the ricotta cheese, I would just put in my chopped fresh spinach or, cooked spinach if it's gonna go in the stuffing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I have two big containers of ricotta. I don't know if people can see it. I think you can right here in front of the camera.
I can see it.
I add a little bit of milk. And for two bigger containers, I'm going to add 2 eggs. This is completely optional, but this is the way my mama taught me. Of course, I'm being on camera breaking an egg. Hopefully I don't fail at that.
let's see, what's the difference between ricotta and this farmstead cheese? Well, this one's got a tab. Let's see if I can actually. Nope.
A fork is a good friend if you got one of those plastic liners that you just can't get.
Yeah, I use a knife like Or's using to just cut around the edge.
I've never been able to pull it all off in one day.
I never have either.
Just like this one has the little tab there, but if I pull
Never
the tab,
worked.
it'll take a little piece off, and that's
Yeah,
it.
it never works for some reason.
Oh, let's see if I can do this trick. You like squeeze it. Ah, it did it. Almost got everything. That almost never happens. Okay, then you said a few eggs.
I would do at least 1 egg per big container. That's something that changes every time I cook it. So,
And I guess it matters what size egg and
And a dash of milk.
well, I'm going to add more milk later.
Ah,
That you kind of add more milk to make it a creamier texture, but for now you're just adding a little bit to get it started. I'm going to also add quite a bit of Italian seasoning. I may add more later. And then I bought these containers of Parmesan cheese. Add one of these now.
wow.
that's you're talking upwards my Parmesan.
It's really rich.
Yeah. I'm also making 3 boxes of noodles. So this is gonna go for 3 boxes of noodles.
Is that mozzarella?
Yep. And then this shredded mozzarella. I think I'm adding about half of this 1 pound bag, so about a half a pound.
But that's for the batch you're making. So if I'm making just 1 box, like
Cup
pasta noodles,
I would probably buy for 1 box. I would probably buy. Let's see. I got the 32-ounce tub of ricotta. I would probably buy the 16-ounce jug of it. 1 egg. I would probably just use the plain Parmesan dried, and maybe a cup of mozzarella.
okay, and
But you're adding other stuff to it, so somewhere in there.
Italian spices, Italian spices.
I mean, what if we have extra of this? I wonder what we could make.
well, that's what I was thinking. If I had any, if all my shells get filled, I could
Freeze
within,
it.
within a day or so, or freeze the guts, the stuffing.
I have before.
And my mushrooms are going to give off more liquid. And then along with the ricotta, okay, so I have to explain something. When I grew up, my mother made lasagna, but she never used ricotta cheese. She would use cottage cheese, which is milky and more liquidy than the ricotta. So I decided to put some of my cottage cheese in with the ricotta. So how much more liquid do you think I would need to add? Or just wing it?
Try to take liquid out, no?
It's hard to take liquid out. That's why they didn't put all the milk in. You just kind of want it to be creamy. Like you want it to be thinner than, let's say, icing for a cake, but you don't want it to be runny. Like you want it to be thick enough where if you tip the bowl, it will stick a little bit and leave like a concave curve.
All right.
Yeah, I was actually gonna ask people, what do you think the difference between cottage cheese and ricotta cheese? To me,
And I think
Birds and whey.
I think ricotta cheese to me is just farmstead cheese, like fresh made cheese that hasn't been squeezed the water out. Because we used to make like goat cheese all the time growing up. And if you just poured it into a container, it'd be like ricotta. But then if you hung it in a cheesecloth and let it drip, it would become farmstead cheese. You guys think I'm right?
I don't know. I make cheese at the store.
It's like,
So I have already added more milk to my ricotta cheese, and I'll probably add a little bit more because it's still staying pretty thick.
mine's really thick. So
Hey, everyone, I'm gonna sign off because I'm using data because this place we're at does not have Wi-Fi.
thanks for calling us from Italy.
Thanks for calling in.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
no problem. See you guys next week.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Africa. Can you show me how big your noodles are? Because I think these ones, even though they say jumbo, they're not what I think in my mind as jumbo.
There's one in my hand right now.
Yeah, see, mine is, I'd say half that size.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's just not. They call them jumbo, but
Or you have enormous hands.
I do have enormous. But they still have a waste. Could be they're just not cooked very much too.
One more shot of milk for me.
Mhm. Oops. Hard then try to keep this clean. Okay. Man, if I hadn't put that egg in here, I could just eat this bowl. I think I need to add a little more Italian seasoning. Actually, I think I want to add a little roasted garlic to it too. I got powdered roasted garlic. But usually you don't flavor the center too much, right? It's
I would think that's up to personal taste.
okay.
I don't think I would see a problem with stuffing the shells with meat and having the cheese on the outside as part of the sauce. Or
It would just take a lot more cheese to do that probably, but yeah.
Or
I've
more.
I've seen it like that, where they would put the noodles and then you sprinkle a little cheese on top of each one.
Hmm.
Oh my God, I just put like a half a teaspoon of roasted garlic in this, and it just like, it's amazing now. I don't think I'll ever buy just regular garlic powder anymore. Always the roasted. It just, I don't know. It just so elevated. Now I know why you cooked some of those noodles ahead of time, because these noodles will be way too hot to stuff.
Yeah. And if you get done with your cheese mixture ahead of time, you can just cover it and put it in the fridge.
I think these noodles are all done. Take one out. Move the fork to.
Yeah,
Just
I'm kind of worried for you for what you just said, that they're going to be very hot for a while. And
I threw
I've
mine
done,
in ice bath just to stop them from cooking.
that's not a bad idea.
I let them go a little bit too long. So
There you go. And you want them kind of al dente, right? Because we're gonna bake them.
yeah, I'm screwed. It's gonna be mush.
It'll
So
be.
the 8 ounces of sauteed mushrooms and the 12 ounces or so of the arugula and spinach didn't really add a lot of volume because they cooked down so much.
Mushrooms and spinach are like, I have 10 pounds of it. Now I've got a cup of it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be good. So I have my Parmesan cheese, mozzarella cheese, Italian seasoning, and ricotta and cottage, and I threw in a little pepper and garlic salt
All right, where's my strainer?
and more garlic powder.
Ooh.
So anything else I need to put in the stuffing?
There's nothing you need to put in it.
Okay. And I just did 1 egg. And let me show you how thick it is. And whoops, I gotta
That's they're
unplug.
all steamed up.
So it's that thick. Is that too runny or is that okay?
1 second, Lulu. Let me spotlight you.
I think that looks fine.
It is sort of runny. I mean, I imagine you're gonna put the shells, I guess, the open side up because otherwise this stuff would just fall out.
Well, the sauce is going to cover the shells too. Or can, if you want to.
And then you guys are doing meat, and I sort of missed out. Can you go over again how the meat is in the meat sauce? Or you're making a meat sauce for it?
Yeah, I cooked roughly 2 pounds of ground sausage, ground beef, drained them, added my veggies, and cooked my veggies with the meat. And then I just put my sauce on top of that and mixed it together.
Do you ever stuff this with anything other than cheese?
I do not, but I am not opposed to it. Like I was saying a little bit ago, I don't see why you couldn't just make the meat, like I said before, stuff the shells with the meat and have the sauce on the outside of that.
Part of this is the simplicity of making a huge batch. If you just make, your sauce and your cheese like this, I mean, that was quick to make that much stuffing, right?
Mhm.
So, all right, my noodles, I've cooled them off, and I just put a little olive oil on them. I think I'm ready to stuff them. There's my my noodles al dente. This one wants to curl shut.
You'll get a lot of them that are going to be curled shut, or you might have two of them that got stuck together while they were cooking, and you'll have some of them that are just going to tear down the middle. So maybe like 10 to 20% of your shells might just go right in the garbage, unless you're just willing to put them in that way.
Or I can put them in another pan and they become like lasagna.
Yeah. I think for shells your size, or I'd probably use a teaspoon to stuff them.
Yeah, I originally you tried to use the big tablespoon and it was too hard.
Yeah, I'm gonna use a tablespoon. I've got my crock pot sitting here. I've already sprayed it with non-cook spray. And on the bottom, I just have a layer of plain sauce, not the meat sauce. That way I can build up from there and not burn on the bottom.
Let me do that. Let me do it instead of in the oven. That's a better idea. But I always did it and then baked them in the oven. But with the slow cooker, you layer it in there and then you can just take it to a potluck easier, right?
That's what I'm doing tomorrow.
All right.
How long will you have to cook it in the crock pot?
I'm just gonna leave it on low, and that should be sufficient. If I were cooking it in the oven, I would probably go maybe 350 degrees for an hour.
I mean, the only thing you're really cooking is the egg.
Yep.
Right, and you're just infusing the flavors all together.
And if you do like the layer of cheese on top, maybe you're making that nice and golden brown. Excuse me.
These are a pain.
Yeah, they take a while. This is
What do you call it? I think I made it even harder because I sprinkled some olive oil on it. Now they're all oily.
Oh, they're sliding apart.
Just like I'm trying to use it in my hand and it's like blowing up. So I recommend don't putting the olive oil on it when you like.
Unless they're gonna sit for a while.
Oh yeah, then they stick, so they don't stick together. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and like, how much do you put in here? I guess I haven't been really being consistent. Does it matter?
I mean,
how like overflow? I don't know. I'm not being really.
I try to put enough so that the two open ends of the shell can still overlap a little bit. But if one is overfilled and another is underfilled,
Just like,
no one's gonna. I'm not gonna eat this, you know. At least I hope not.
it's like.
So let's see.
I have brought something to a potluck that people were just like, "Yeah, let's order pizza," and I was just like, "Well, I'm not gonna cook you guys anything good next time."
I went to a chili cook-off one year, and at the very last minute, I had my mortar and pestle and put fresh ground hot pepper on top, and it ended up being too spicy.
Oh,
And the next year at the same chili cook-off, people would refuse to even try my chili just because they remembered the year before.
it's
Like,
like,
no, it's okay. It's not as hot as last year. I don't care, man.
but last year you told us it wasn't hot.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool though that people remember you though.
Not in a good way.
It's like, I mean, people always want what their 15 minutes of fame. They never realize is it going to be good fame or bad fame.
Right. Until it's too late.
It's like, I mean, can you imagine some of these people who are internet memes? You know, it's an actual person that are in those memes.
Oh,
You know, And they did something to get, internet famous.
Yeah.
Or infamous, as as the case may be.
Man. So, Lulu, I forgot I left you spotlighted if that's okay.
Oh, that's fine.
Also,
So you just pack them in, right?
Yep. I almost have a layer in my crock pot, and then I've got my sauce, and I'm just gonna add a layer of sauce and then another layer.
My little shells are a little overcooked, and so they're not staying open to stuff.
Yeah.
well, mine are undercooked and they're not staying open. So,
Huh.
I think they just don't want to be open.
No. I wish my hands were a little bigger that I could pry them open and
Okay, I was just gonna complain about how big my fingers were. So we just
We
all
all-
need-
We all have our problems.
we all want what we don't have.
I was just like my thumb just. I'm just like these are so.
You got big hands and you got the small shells, a bad combination.
Well, I mean, the bag says jumbo.
Yeah, well, look at the ones Lulu's got. Look at Lulu's on the
Okay.
screen and see how big they are.
Are they big or little compared to yours?
Yours
Yours are big
yours are
compared to
definitely
the-
bigger than mine. Yeah.
Yeah, they're bigger than ours.
And chef, if you were to go either to overstuff them or understuff them, which would be better? Is this stuffing gonna expand at all?
I don't think it'll expand, especially with your veggies that you got in there too.
Yeah, I think they're gonna give off a lot of liquid. Well, at least the mushrooms will. The arugula and spinach got cooked
Now,
down.
if you have egg in there, that'll
Just one egg.
make it solidify a little bit. So you're probably safe.
The disappointing part is I'm gonna have to wait an hour to eat this.
Oh, you don't. You can just make one if your noodles are cooked and eat one right now.
You got your oven preheated, Lulu?
Oh, thank you.
Oh, wait a second. We don't recommend eating raw eggs, right?
You got your oven preheated, or?
I'm doing mine in the Instant Pot or the slow
It's a
cook.
pot. Oh my God. That's really gonna turn to mush unless you're gonna put it on slow or
I'm
something.
gonna use it slow cooker.
Okay, all right.
So we have 3 different ways that we're all cooking it.
I'm following Charles' way where you just put it in a slow cooker and
Oh, okay.
transport it easy.
I decided to do a couple of smaller trays of it.
It does look like a mess in there.
Oh, my kitchen's a disaster. I knew this was gonna be one of those things where every cutting board and bowl and everything. Dirty.
Yeah.
I've defaulted to so I put half of them in the strainer and cooled them off, and I sprinkled olive oil on that one, and then I have half of them still in the pot that are hot, and I've defaulted to grab the hot ones because it doesn't have the oil on it. It's easier to use, even though they're a little warm. They're easier to put in without. Yeah, that was a mistake, putting the oil on it.
Yeah, I was so far behind, it felt like that I didn't get around to it, so I'm kind of glad. I did inadvertently, and I know better, threw all my pasta water away.
I almost did. That's why I have part of it is still in the pan. Because normally I dump them all into the strainer all at once. And I was like, wait, I have to save some water.
You'd be proud of me, or I saved.
It's hard to remember because you're usually just pouring it through a colander or something.
Right,
hot water.
right. But
Oh,
you'd be,
that one's perfect. It's not folded at all. Well, just a little bit.
They're perfect until you cook them.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm just saying for stuffing, it's easier to stuff there.
So when I cooked my mushrooms and my arugula and spinach, when I squeezed the moisture out of both of those, I saved the juice that's gonna go in some sort of soup,
Oh yeah, that's good.
especially the mushroom juice. Oh my gosh, that's liquid gold.
It's like I've
You know, when you cook mushrooms, you just put them on a dry pan. And
yeah, that's the best because
yeah, they give up
they're
all
what,
their
like
water.
80% moisture.
Yep.
But yeah, when we did my big community dinner, the 160 people in the street, we did mushrooms, and we just like half cooked the mushrooms to make the mushroom pilaf. And then you mix it with the cooked rice, and then you cook it some more. So then the moisture of the mushrooms comes out into the rice.
I've got to go because I have another thing I've got to attend. So you guys are doing a great job. I think you'll survive without my kibitzing.
Nope, we needed that laugh. Thanks, Fred.
See you next time.
Bye.
There we go. We had extra countries. We had someone from Italy. We had someone from California. Next week we'll have someone from Africa teaching us.
Oh,
I
fun.
love doing this.
And what is it they're cooking?
I forget what it's called, but it's all made from black eyed peas. It's like 2 different recipes from black eyed peas.
All right, so this is about as full as it's gonna get. So you saying how much am I covering it with the sauce?
At least halfway up the side of the shells.
Okay. Ew.
Like normally I would do 2 layers of shells, so I would have 1 layer completely covered and the next layer partially covered.
And then my shells are open upward.
Yep.
Yours is going to be really good, Lulu, with mushrooms and arugula in it.
Well, it was one of those salad packets, so it's, you know, tender arugula and spinach.
It's like,
I got them at Aldi's, and I prefer just straight up arugula for my salad.
yeah. I've been getting a local farmer here has arugula microgreens.
Ooh.
That is intense.
Sometimes when I have gatherings, I'll just open the arugula package and put it on the table, and people just eat leaves of arugula like lettuce or a chip or whatever. You know, it's like something fun to just snack on. But I'm weird. Now, am I putting any cheese on top of this, or?
I would, especially if you're going to bake it.
So mozzarella or parm or both?
Both if you have them, and maybe Italian seasoning on top of that. I got distracted. Okay.
And
Now,
350 oven?
thereabouts, 350, 400. You may want to check on it after about half an hour.
Because I mean, really, again, the only thing you're cooking is the eggs. And if you're just boiling the cheese.
So did I put too much sauce on mine? Because I can't see the individual shells anymore.
They'll be fine.
But next time, Lulu, you have to remember to undercook your noodles.
Okay.
So that they'll soak up some juice, right? They'll still soak up some now, but they would have soaked up even more.
And they're going to come out mush. So, oh well. Live and learn.
I mean, when you make lasagna, like lasagna noodles almost never come out. It's like, I wonder if you could Do the, no, you couldn't. You have to cook these before. I answered my own. You know, when you do lasagna noodles, you can not cook the lasagna noodles. Just layer them.
Have you done that?
Oh yeah, always. That's how we grew up. Always done. I started the first time I saw like the noodles in the store that said you don't have to pre-boil these noodles. I was like, you've never had to.
So I've got 2 layers in my crock pot right now with sauce covering each layer. And so I'm going to start my second batch of noodles.
So mine's such a small pan. I put 3 layers. So I don't know if that'll be very good when you have multiple layers. Let's see if mine is a small. I think I'll fit a 4th layer in there. That's all I can fit. All right, that's all I can fit in this pan. So I'm gonna do one in my slow cooker and one in the oven. See how that can fit. But
Yeah, I expect I will still be cooking after we're done doing the filming. So please don't wait.
Lulu, in your pan, when you put it in the oven, did you pre-oil the pan or not? I think it needs
I
to.
did not. I wasn't told.
I don't think it needs to. There's enough sauce. But
For me, the best thing about that oiling the pan is it just makes cleaning the pan much easier when you're done.
Yeah, that's true.
And I have gotten lucky so far. So far, out of that first box of noodles, I've only had 2 break to the point where I don't want to use them. Usually, it's a lot more.
Yeah, I think I did a pretty good job, but these are like undercooked, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's still
I put
eat them. Like when I tested one, I ate it, but it's al dente. So I think it came out like perfect. But
this uncovered in the oven, or I am.
I would think so to let some of that moisture. But I was thinking I'd have too much of this ricotta, but it looks like we're going to do a good job of this.
I think I've got too much, but I can freeze it and use it. Even if you're just making plain pasta, you can put it in the sauce and
Cream sauce.
Yeah.
You could probably just literally just cook some noodles and just mix it right into the noodles while they're hot. And that would cook the egg enough. You wouldn't even have to like cook it on the pan, I would think.
Oops.
Lulu, did you have a hard time finding these big noodles at all?
No, I just went to Schnucks and they had it.
Let's see, my Schnucks didn't have them at all. They didn't even have space on the shelf for them.
Huh.
So it's I mean, I live in a small town, so stuff. Sometimes I don't need stuff.
Not a lot of Italian.
A lot of people who like it. But
And I bought the cheapest, like pasta sauce. And the 2 that I opened were the traditional and the what was the other? Oh, and roasted garlic. And I like the taste of the traditional better. And it's good. I'm not dissatisfied with it.
and I was just saying how much I like my I just have roasted garlic powder that I don't use regular garlic powder anymore. I pretty much just use roasted garlic powder. But that's the thing about cooking is everybody has different tastes.
I'm discovering that not all my shells are the same size.
What?
Some of my shells are bigger than others.
It's like, then it's taking it made. All right, I like 2 more to make this layer.
Oh boy.
But I think I might actually run out of sauce.
I'm thinking I'm gonna run out of stuffing. We should all get together.
Yeah, you mail me your sauce, and I mean, I'll mail you some stuff. Actually, next time I'll make the ricotta cheese from just milk, so it could be a really long show.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I mean, to make the soft farmstead cheese, all you do is bring old milk to 190 degrees, and if it's really sour, it will curd. If not, you have to add a little bit. And actually, I think I have, yes, on the YouTube, I have my mom's farmstead cheese recipe. And the only difference is you don't let it drip. Just make the cheese and then you just store it in a container. Right. So good.
I am almost out of shells.
Ah, that's so funny. I have shells and sauce, but I'm gonna be running out of the guts. But I have more of everything except for the mushrooms and the spinach, so I can do just a cheese one.
All right. So I wonder if you wanted to make this quick. I was just thinking if we didn't put the eggs in here, I could
Oh,
literally just stuff it, pour the sauce on it, eat it. But it wouldn't taste as good. I know that because you wouldn't have the sauce
incorporate.
absorbed into the noodle.
Yeah.
That's a big part of like Italian cooking is they have all the different noodles, different shapes of noodles that are all good for absorbing different types of sauces. Right? But the idea is to have as much surface as possible to.
What's your favorite noodle to use when you're just making pasta?
I'd say the easiest is macaroni. I feel.
You mean like elbow macaroni or like
Elbow? You can just bring it to a boil and then shut it off, and then it'll continue to cook, or strain it and then you can add it to other stuff. I really like rotini, the swirly one.
the screwy one?
Yep.
Me too.
Because I feel like they're small, but they have a lot of surface to absorb sauce.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then they'll still have a good texture. They don't turn.
Yeah, they don't overcook easy.
Yeah.
I like straight up spaghetti or linguine, honestly.
But
and that thing where you throw the spaghetti on the ceiling and it sticks when it's done does not work.
Well, I'd end up with a few things of spaghetti on the ceiling, but
What's that?
you might end up with a few things of spaghetti on the ceiling.
No, but I don't know if it's for real, but I heard that once, and before I painted one of my kitchens, we experimented, and it never stuck.
So,
That would be a strange thing. Like if you're going to buy a house and you walk in their kitchen and there's like 200 noodles stuck to the ceiling. Do I really want to buy this house? Or just come here for dinner?
That's-
I so want to just nibble on this sauce, but I keep reminding myself raw eggs. But
But we had dishes. We had, what was it? That one Italian dish that has raw eggs in it. And
part of that is in Europe and Italy, they don't worry about raw eggs as much because they vaccinate the chickens so that they don't have disease in the eggs, salmonella. Versus in the US, and then they don't have to refrigerate the eggs so much. So, but yeah, I'm trying right now to, instead of using the spoon, to just use the noodle itself to scoop it.
yeah, I couldn't do that. Mine would tear.
I think that's because I got these big fingers. My big thumb can hold it open. No, doesn't work on that one. All right.
Telephone call coming in.
All right. I think, is there anything else we want to cover? Because otherwise, I'm enjoying this. Is like, I think cooking is meditation. So I'm like zoning out here and just doing it. But we don't really have anything else to cover, do we?
Besides more sauce and cheese, maybe a little Italian seasoning on top of the cheese, and you're good to go.
All right. I meant in the show, but yeah, let's put cheese on everything.
Oh yeah.
So,
And you know when it's done, when it's just heated through, or
You might see your sauce boiling up around the edge of your pan. Your cheese be a little golden on top.
okay.
because I mean, you're not really cooking anything. You're trying to just infuse it all together, right?
Mhm.
Well, it's got to be heated through. You do have to cook the egg so the egg solidifies.
Yeah, that's why I was saying, like, if you see the sauce boiling up around the edge of the pan, that would be a good indicator that the eggs have been cooked,
Okay.
especially with a small pan like you're using.
Yeah.
This looks like a mess.
Oh, it is a mess.
It's just like, all right, I need to wash my hands so I can reach over and turn this computer off.
So I'm doing the 15 ounces of ricotta. How much parm are you putting in? About a cup?
I think there's a limit.
Yeah, it's personal taste.
All right.
I mean,
Well, I need to save some for the top. So
Just like, I guess, have you ever, I forgot to ask the question, is there something you wouldn't put in? Like something you have put in and you just thought it didn't come out right, or you just are pretty good about not putting stuff that you think is bad?
I mean, this might be the one thing I don't think I would put bacon in.
Just like, huh, maybe I should just start asking that from every recipe.
Yeah.
Would you
and
put
I
bacon in
think
this?
something like a zucchini would put off too much water, even if you cooked it ahead.
Yeah, that's probably things that have too much moisture and probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
So
But those are kind of things you could cook ahead of time
drain off
and
the moisture.
modify the recipe.
Yeah. So. All right. Thank you so much.
All right, enjoy.
I'm gonna have to share this because this is too much for me to eat even. So
Yeah, I got about 20 hungry guys who have been waiting for this for about a month. So
it's like, did you say 20 Oh, hungry. I thought you said 2000.
2000. I was like, you are cooking a lot.
It's like, oh man. Let's see.